Welcome, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on a season recap edition of the R&R CatCast. We're the Sad Ryans tonight. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley. He's your host, Ryan Thornburg. We are the Ryans of the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network, and we are brought to you by the Bobcat Collective. If you're passionate about supporting Bobcat athletes, visit bobcatcollective.com today and learn more. Sign up to be a member for as low as $25 a month.
That's like 3 Starbucks.
Yeah, I do it. You should do it too. Membership not only supports Montana State student athletes, but also provides great perks for members, including exclusive access to events, behind the scenes content, and more. For businesses, we also offer corporate sponsorships, providing a unique way to promote your brand through the power of the athlete and the collective. Join us in making an impact and elevating the Bobcat community. Go to www.bobcatcollective.com today and make sure to mention the R&R CatCast. Thorny, back from Frisco. This feels like post-mortem to me. We've had a week to digest it. So much has been going on. We're here to talk about it.
I know you're in the same boat as me. I haven't watched any film. I haven't rewatched the game. I don't even think I've watched any highlights. I've just been too sad. No contact, as they say. The breakup. I'm avoiding it at the moment.
The NCAA put out like a 20-minute highlight reel. I watched it when I was sitting in the airport on Tuesday last week. That was about it. Yeah, I have had chances to go back and rewatch it, but like you, I kind of avoided it because I feel a little bit downtrodden about rewatching the game. I did put down some thoughts. We will talk about that. So let's just get into kind of the rundown for this show. There is no Coach Vegan presser. So we'll get into what's in our coolies. We're going to go right into the stats of the game. And then we'll break down the game through the lens of the what ifs. There was a ton of what ifs in this national championship that could have went Montana State, but it didn't. And we end up losing 35-32. We'll break down those what ifs. And so we'll just banter back and forth, kind of maybe, help us get some closure on this game because we're feeling still pretty downtrodden. We'll talk about our experience. Our experience was awesome. That's the fun part about this episode, is going down to Frisco, talking about what that entailed. And then we'll hit you back in the junk with some portal news to finish off today.
Punch it down, lift you back up, and punch it right back down again.
I got on the Golden Coolie thread pretty late. Kind of forgot about that for a little bit, but I don't think there's anything we'll check in, though. But there might be something by the time we get there. But I think we first talk about what's in our Golden Coolies.
Before we do that, I want to talk about, how about them Rams? Just want to point that out. At least my Rams made up for my sad Bobcat woes. Smoking the Vikings.
Cares.
I know there's probably a lot of Go Skull people on this podcast, listening to this podcast, but sorry about that. Rams reign supreme. All right, let's play this thing.
What's in your Golden Coolie?
Sad Ryan over here has 2 beers, 2 Golden Coolies lined up. But first, I almost forgot. Don't forget, Golden Coolie sponsored by Wilbur Ellis. Go see Shea Richter and Company up in Fort Benton, the Golden Triangle, for all your farming and fertilizer needs. Yeah, I got 2 beers, both of them Missoula beers of all things. I got Cold Smoke, which I'm about 75% done with, almost done. But then I got the Byron Amber Lager as my backup in a bottle, ready to go.
That's a really solid beer. That's one of my favorites, actually. I'm in the middle of the dry January thing, so I just have club soda and a lime.
That's why I have 2 beers. One for you, one for me. Drinking yours. I'm just that kind of guy.
All right. Well, I think, Ryan, what we should do probably is just get into the stats.
Let's get
for
right
this
into it,
game.
man. I feel like we're
Yeah.
flying by on this thing. We usually spend a lot more time, but let's get to the grieving process, right? All right. Well, the stats is brought to you by Pronghorn Wealth Management. If you haven't looked at the stats on your company's 401k since the last time the Bobcats won a national championship, maybe I jinxed us with that one. Maybe I'm pretty sure that's what I said in the preview one. Totally jinxed that. Reach out to Kendall at Pronghorn Wealth to benchmark your current plan fees at pronghornwealth.com. Man, the stats on this are insanely equal. The Bobcats lose
Weird.
35-32, but when I read down the stats, we're within like 5% on everything. It's ridiculous. The Cats had 19 first downs. The Bison had 18. The Cats were 8 for 13. The Bison were 8 for 12 on third downs. The Cats did go for it twice on fourth down, converting one of those. Total yards for the North Dakota State, 401. Total yards for the Cats, 393.
Jeez.
199 yards through the air for the Bison, 195 for the Bobcats. The difference, I guess, a little bit here is they were 19-23 for 8.71 yards per pass, where the Cats were 13-24 for 8.1 yards per carry. So the completion percentage is one of the few things where the deviation was. 202 rushing yards for North Dakota State on 36 carries for 5.6 yards per carry. The Cats, 198 yards on 37 attempts for 5.4 yards per carry. Penalties, 9 penalties on the Bison for 57 yards, kind of uncharacteristic by North Dakota State. 9 penalties, that's pretty substantial. The Cats only penalized twice, but for 20 yards. And then the turnover margin, the Cats won 31 minutes and 1 second to 28 minutes and 59 seconds. Like, it is down the line pretty dang close, and the score reflects that 35-32.
In the red zone, both teams were both 4 for 4. The Bison had 0 sacks. We had 1 sack. And the Bison had 0 field goals. We had 1 field goal. And when you think about those stats, the thing that makes you go, is really most of them came in the second half from Montana State. If we could have got anything going in the first half. The what ifs, right? So
We'll
Tommy
get into
Malott.
that.
Yeah. Tommy Malott was 13 for 24, 195 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 14 carries for 135 with 1 touchdown. What a way to go out, Tommy Malott. I'm just going to give him a slow clap right here.
He gave it everything, man.
Yeah, man. Hats off. Jeez, wow. Adam Jones, 11 touches, 40 yards. Scottry Humphrey, 11 touches again, 27 yards, 1 touchdown. Ryan Lonergan had the long pass for 53 yards. Taco had 3 catches, 51 yards. He had that 1 touchdown in the front left part of the end zone in the fourth quarter. Ty McCullough, 4 catches, 32. Ryan King, 1 for 25. Ryland Ort led the team with 8 solo and 10 total tackles. Brody Greeby had 4 solo and 7 total tackles. Kenneth Iden had the only sack, and he had 6 total tackles. Simeon had 5 total tackles. Brendan Hall had 2 punts for 80 yards. Miles Sandstead was 3 for 3 on points after and a 32-yard field goal. Over to the Bison side, Cam Miller had 19 of 22, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 carries, 126 on the ground, 2 touchdowns for him. He had that long of, I didn't write it down. What was it? 76 yards that the seas just parted for him. So most of that came on 1 play. And then Bryce Lance ate lunch all day, 9 catches, 170 yards with 1 tutty. Those are your stats.
The thing that jumps out to me right away on this is the inefficiencies of the Bobcat running backs to get anything going.
100%.
Jones, 3.5 yards per carry, long of 6. Humphrey, 2.4 yards per carry, long of 6. It's not going to do it.
Nope, but we rushed the ball, 24 times? Didn't go away from it. Not saying we should, because it's been our bread and butter all year long, but in the first half when they're not breaking anything, and that's the thing, man, like the push was there a lot of the time. Like they had the chances. Scottry couple times in my brain. Adam Jones, a couple times in my brain. The push, Connor, like they got to the second level there against the Bison. And the Bison just made a tackle.
Yeah.
They could not break a tackle. And if they break one, two of those, that's the what if moment. That's pay dirt. They didn't do it.
No, there were several times where
Sucks.
one broken tackle would have changed the outcome of this game.
Yeah.
And kudos to North Dakota State. They tackled very well. And it's kind of been something you and I have talked about on and off all season long is breaking tackles. We thought Humphrey was better at it, but maybe he's not 100%, but he didn't break any tackles on this game last Monday. I'm trying to figure out when was this game played. But
Yeah, almost exactly a week ago, we were feeling the feels right now because we had just lost at the time of this recording. I was thinking about that earlier tonight as I was thinking about this game.
it would be 2 hours ahead, so it'd be 11 p.m. But we would have been sitting in the hotel waiting for our Domino's pizza that took over an hour, and we both like basically fell asleep before the pizza got there. Good times. That's how our night ended.
Oh man! All right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to just go into the what ifs, the big time moments of this game, or do you want to talk about our experience in Frisco?
Let's do the experience last. Let's talk a little bit of football here. So you talk about the what ifs, like just what are your kind of overall, what's your key takeaway from this game? Is one of those the what ifs? Is that kind of your key takeaway?
It just felt like there was probably 5 or 6 plays or instances in this game where if any one goes Montana State's way, we possibly win. I mean, 35-32, we had this comeback moment. There's that first half left a lot to be desired. But yeah, I mean, I have a ton of thoughts. I'm having a hard time boiling it down to one talking point right now. So yeah, I think my major thing is there's a handful of instances that are just like, man, that didn't go Montana State's way. And that was weird because normally they do, or at least one of them would. But Montana State did not make a single game changing play in this game, in my opinion.
I mean, no, I would say Tommy's touchdown run could have been, it should have been. And by all metrics, it would have been because then the defense came out and did their part right after that. So there's the sequence that really kills me is Tommy touchdown gets us what it was like 24-18, I think. At that point, it was a touchdown. We were less than a touchdown away. Defense comes out, gets a 3 and out. We're cooking. We're cooking at that point. We go 3 and out after 2 runs into the teeth of defense, and then a pass by Tommy to Rohan Jones, which he, to me, inexplicably like doesn't throw it right away. He kind of pump fakes, takes his time, and throws it at Jones's foot. If he throws that right away, Jones catches that and falls forward for a first down. I almost guarantee it. Even if he has to turn around, he was open. Jones is a big guy. He's gonna plow forward. But that's the little things. Football is a game of like inches. Tommy hesitates for like 1 second, throws it late, and then throws it a bad pass, and it's just that right there. Like we didn't recover, basically.
Yeah.
One little thing like that. That's just like the what ifs. So many of those.
Yeah.
The thing that really sticks in my craw, that first half in general by the offense. What were we doing?
So I was thinking we could go, if you would pull up ESPN, I'm not sure if you have it over there, but if you could pull up maybe the drive by drive kind of breakdown, it would illuminate some of the moments we want to talk about. I'll kind of kick us off here. The Bison go 12 plays, they get the ball, and they go 75 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. Precision by them to lead it to 7-0. And the thing that bugs me right away is we give them the ball. When has Montana State not taken the ball right away and scored? And that's the one thing that Cat fans can just be upset about is Montana State did not come out and dictate terms. They let the Bison be the aggressor. That's going to forever haunt them until they get over that whatever that is for them.
Did
That
the
boggled
Cats
my
usually win the toss and elect to receive?
well, if you're in yeah, I think
Is that
so.
what we've done? I actually don't know the answer. I haven't paid attention.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you how that has played out throughout the season. What I can tell you is when Montana State scores first, and we normally do score first, it puts the other team in a pickle. And that didn't happen this game. And they drove for 7 minutes on us, 12 plays, and just diced us up. Perfect drive by the Bison. We go 6 plays after that, punt. They go back and score another touchdown.
92-yard touchdown drive on 5 plays.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think that is the one where
That's Miller's long one. It was 3rd and 4 when he did that too.
yeah.
So if we could have made a play there, or even extended the drive, like maybe he gets that first down, but maybe the drive doesn't end with a touchdown, because that was still, they're at their own 36 at that point. There's still a long ways for them to go into the field goal range. Instead, we give up this ridiculous touchdown run where we just completely vacate the middle of the field. Like, I've never seen anything like that. I could have scored a touchdown. No, I couldn't have, but the biggest hole. Oh, that was brutal to see both the safeties just like go to the flats for some reason, go to the sidelines.
One of the Montana State's 2 penalties was also in that drive. We had a 3rd and 3, and the Bison were on their own 15, and we had a passing interference against Andrew Powdrill that gave them a first down on 30. So that was another mistake by the Bobcats. So
yeah, you could say that, but 2 penalties all game long, that's pretty clean.
Yeah, that is
penalties
clean,
are not the problem. There's penalties are going to happen. You're going to get a penalty that costs you in a football game. This was not one of the problems for this game. Penalties.
So Cam Miller goes untouched, and we're thinking like before this game, like there's going to be a spy on Cam Miller. They have to make him beat them with his legs.
I forgot we talked about that.
Nothing.
No spy down that play.
Nothing going on. A little bit frustrated. Montana State's down 14-0. I have the thought like, well, we've been here before. We were down 17-0 or by 17 points against New Mexico twice.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, and I was like, well, we still have a chance. But the thoughts were creeping back into both you and I. Like, man, this feels like 2021.
Here we go again,
all over again.
It was so much deja vu in this game for so much of it. Like the places we visited, the hotel we stayed in, the field. It was bringing back those nightmares, man. It was all so fresh when you're there. Like, I remember exactly the street we walked by. I remember this sign. Like, the memories are very fresh, even though it was 4 years ago. And it's like, oh, and then the game starts going that way. Yeah. I was starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah. You went into kind of like sad, mad, thorny version for a while.
What?
And
I was not mad at all.
Okay, maybe a little bit, just a bit more depressed.
I was sad.
Like,
I was sad. I'll admit that all day long.
Yeah. No, okay. And then after that drive, so we're reeling 14-0 Bison. Montana State has a 17-play, 61-yard drive that takes 11 minutes and 13 seconds, spans the end of the first quarter to the beginning of the second quarter.
With 3 MNF points. MFing points.
3 points. 3. And this is one of the big key moments. I think Montana makes a key mistake. We end up electing for a 32-yard field goal. And thank God Miles Sandstead hit that, because at that moment when we were going to it, I'm like, this is not going our way. We're going to miss this. It was just Montana State's MO to miss a field goal.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
That would have been like exactly like last time if we'd missed that field goal.
Yeah. He hits it. Key mistake, because we were 4th and 3 on the NDSU 14-yard line. We have driven for 11 straight minutes, and we choose at that moment to kick a field goal down 14. Juxtapose that with going for it on 4th down later on, and we don't get that from the 45 or whatever. We'll talk about it here in a moment. That seems like a key moment when you're like, why?
No,
So one of my key
I
moments.
agree
Frisco,
with kicking this field goal here.
Oh, I don't. Not even close.
Because if you get stuffed, it's over. Game's over. Period. It was
I don't know,
crucial
man.
to
They're
get
on the
some
NDSU.
momentum. We had to get something there. We had to get points, man.
But we were driving. We had how many first downs in that?
It was also
sequence?
2nd and 4, and then it was 3rd and 3, and it was 4th and 3. So we had two plays and went 1 yard. The last two plays.
It was. Yeah, I was just going to say that the two plays right before that were terrible calls. Absolutely, just
so you had
calls.
faith that our 4th down would have been successful on 4th and 3 there?
Yeah, I think if you're choosing a time to go for it on 4th down, I'm just saying we chose it twice to go to 4th down in this game. They chose the wrong one. I think you go for it there. Yes, I'm gonna stand on that my whole life.
I think the one you're talking about coming up right before, like a couple drives later, or maybe this next drive, much more controversial. I think this one was a pretty solid decision.
Yeah, well,
because it works out. So because we come out and then they go backwards. We force them into a punt. They go backwards and they punt the ball back to us. So all of a sudden, all right, well, we drove down. We got some yards. We proved we can move the ball. We scored some points. Defense came out, did their part. This is a theme that I hadn't really thought about. That's 2 times in this game where the offense did enough. The defense then did their part, forced 3 and out, and then the offense squanders the opportunity. Because what do we do next? 7 plays, 18 yards, and going forward on 4th and 5 on NDSU's 44-yard line with a minute left in the game. Yep. 7 plays, 18 yards. Ugh, that's pretty bad.
It is. And
2 minutes and 49 seconds.
So you're sitting there with a minute 05 left in the half. And what is one of my biggest peeves is when we allow a team to score right before half. 14-3. And we choose to go for it from North Dakota State's 44. It's 4th and 5. Tommy Malott has airmails it past Taco Dowler, which is
just a low percentage chance play to begin with.
No one's dragging across the middle. We're not moving Tommy in the pocket anywhere.
The play calling in the first half it's like we just froze up. The whole thing. We didn't play loose. We didn't play for like we've been playing for fun all playoffs, all season long, and we get to the national championship and we just tighten up again.
Yeah. RPO didn't let Tommy.
We didn't let Tommy cook.
Nope. Didn't move the pocket. Didn't design any kind of interesting passes. It was 2-yard run, 2-yard run, 2-yard run. Very vanilla, very, very boring. And if you ask the NDSU fans, they were like, "Why didn't you pass on us? That was obviously our weakness."
Yeah, it worked in the second half.
Yeah.
This was a game where you needed to pass to open up the run game. And But anyway, on this 4th down call, I know you are very much against it.
100%.
I'm looking back at this now with the hindsight, and maybe what this might have been the mindset of Vegan at the time is what I'm thinking is the offense had just marched down the field, came up short, kicked the field goal. Okay, that sucked. The defense came out. Maybe we figured something out. We forced a 3 and out. So maybe the defense has kind of locked them down. Maybe figure something out. There's a minute left on the clock. You assume if you don't get this, your defense can do their part. And so the defense completely gives up 10 plays, 56 yards in 47 seconds to let them score before halftime. I think giving them the ball back at the 50-yard line with 59 seconds left isn't great, but I don't think you expect your defense to completely just give up a touchdown right there.
We haven't stopped him. I mean, besides that drive before, we hadn't stopped him. You can't gamble like that. Going down 21-3 is game over. That felt like coffin nails at that moment.
It did.
You give up points right before half. It feels like coffin nails because you have to come out in the 3rd quarter and score full stop. And we did. Thank God. Because if we didn't, all right, get to Uber now, guys, because we're going home early. This game is over. Shoot. Terrible decision by Coach Vegan to go for it on 4th down right there. You punt it and pin them. No, if you don't get it, you punt it and pin them inside the 10. and then you got a minute for them to go 90 plus yards, hopefully.
Or
Not
Brendan Hall
50.
punts it out of the end zone. They have it on their own 20, which is
Then
only a
they got it
24-yard difference
80
between what they
yards.
had, and they scored
Then
a
they got
touchdown
it for
anyway.
80 yards.
They still had time left on the clock. They still had time left on the clock when they scored. They made it look easy. I don't have faith that they don't give up an 80-yard touchdown right before half.
Well,
We'll never know.
It's harder to go 80 yards than it is 50 yards, Thorny.
True. That's true. That's true. I don't know. I'm not saying I 100% agree with the call. I just don't think it's a horrendous coaching decision.
I'm looking at their
I think
drive.
it was aggressive, and based on the defense shutting them down the last drive, I think you put some faith in your defense if you don't get it. So I think it was aggressive. It was aggressive.
Did we probably play some sort of prevent defense, because I'm looking at it. Their drive had, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? 1st and 10, 2nd and 10. They go 3rd and 2, 1st and 10, 2nd and 3rd, 1st and 10, 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 12, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal. Not many third downs in that drive. I'll tell you what, Thorny. They just matriculated.
And they even
down.
had a false start in there too. Didn't matter.
All right.
They just marched right in the field. That's what NDSU does, man.
Yeah.
They're built for moments like that. Ugh.
All right.
Anything else in the first half that kind of stuck out?
Absolute dread in my stomach sticks out. Absolute. It was. Remember in years past when we lose like going down in flames. Yeah. I thought, I was like, holy cow, this is it all over again. Like when we lose,
the 15-0 season is going to go down in flames just like any other season.
Yeah. It's like, we're not only going to lose, we're just going to lose by getting our ass kicked. And I was like, this feels so familiar, and I don't want to be here right now in the stadium.
No, I was borderline like, let's just go to the bar. I don't want to be here on this planet anymore.
Oh, an NDSU fan. Like right before the game started, I was buying like nachos or hot dogs or something, and I just turn around and he tries to give me a high five. I go, no, I go, horns down or something like that. I put my, like, you know how they put the little horns up. I go, horns down. And he goes, that's not a thing. I go, it is tonight. I just walked away, and I was like, I hope that plays out. And I felt so stupid going into halftime. I'm like, gosh dang it. Why can't we get past these guys? What is it with Frisco and North Dakota State and then this feeling? Because this felt just like last time I was there. So I was really, you and I were really in the dumps.
I was in the dumps.
Shout out to my sister, because my sister was the one who texted me. She's like, do you think we got a shot? And I couldn't tell her no. I was like, yeah, I think we got a shot. Like I had to like talk myself into saying, no, we're not done. We can come out. We're going to get the ball.
No, the suite where we were in was very, very quiet. There was like 10, 15 people in there, and there was like, nobody was talking except for my buddy John. He's trying to rally the troops there. He's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to John. But it was
another thing I would say in the first half is Tyler Walker's worst half all year long. And I wouldn't say anything all that great for Bobby Daly during that first half as well. I just thought both of those guys played pretty conservative. The fourth down calls were head scratchers from me. I was feeling really frustrated. And I felt really frustrated in the fact that Montana State just took it on the chin, and we didn't do anything about it. It was like they intimidated us. If you're going to win against the Bison, and you're going to try to out Bison the Bison, which I think we should talk about a little bit, because I feel like that's what Montana State's been trying to do, then you got to make them you got to make them sweat. You can't let them just feel like, oh, this is Frisco. This is our home. This is what we do. Our second home. We're going to just run it up on you. This is how we play ball here. You can't be that team. And Montana State has been the bully all year long, and we weren't the bully in this game. And that is a critical error on the Bobcats.
I didn't think we could be the bully in this game.
Well, we should have tried. And I don't feel like we were. It just felt like
I think we should have just been more creative. Like we could have been a bully without just doing the smash mouth thing. There's other ways to like dominate. I don't know. It's just like we just tensed up in all the wrong ways in that first half. Play calling, the players seemed to be a little bit tense. Everything just seemed off. And I don't like to do this because I love to give I don't like the better team didn't show up or like we beat ourselves kind of thing. I do feel like the Cats kind of shot themselves in the foot a lot in that first half.
Yeah, sometimes some Cat fans were saying like, are we just trying to get in in a fight with these guys where we can prove that we can run it at them? Like, why would you do that? Like, if it's not working, you're running out of time. The clock's going. They're scoring points on us. Do something different. We hadn't tested the passing. Like Tommy Millot, I feel like maybe had 2 or 3 passes complete in the first half. Gary Black sent me a breakdown of the first half stats. I'll try to pull those up. But the first half stats were atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Let's see here. Yeah, so we had 17 passing yards in the first half. In the second half, we had 178 passing yards.
Yeah. And that could have been there in the first half too.
We scored 3 points in the first half. We scored 29 points in the second half. The what if game, man. I'm telling you, it's just maddening to think about this, right?
That's my biggest takeaway from this game is the first half. We just, particularly the offense, just didn't show up. We just kind of tried to do something else. I don't know what we did.
Poor play calling.
I'd have to go back and rewatch the game to really have a better opinion on this. This is still like going off my mind from what I saw live in Frisco. It just didn't feel like we played Bobcat football.
All right.
Let's put it that way.
Let's get into the second half. All right.
Second half was much more entertaining. We come out, 11 play drive, 75 yards, score a touchdown. That, even at that point, I'm like, okay, good. We scored a touchdown. I'm still in the doldrums, right? This is like not feeling great about this.
This is a great drive, also a kind of a weird drive because Ryan King clearly catches it for 25 yards and he's in the end zone when he catches it. He rolls right into the end zone, not even short. It's like clearly a touchdown. And the line
have
judge,
you rewatched that part? Because
yes, I have watched that play probably 3 or 4 times, and they mark him like a yard back, and it's not even close. You're like, what were you even thinking? And that takes about 2 minutes off the clock. And we have to score with, let's see, Scotty Humphrey gets hit in the backfield and then he falls forward and then we get that 1 yard touchdown. But I'll tell you what.
It ends up being a minute and 9 seconds, it looks like.
Okay, so I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, we might get stopped here.
Oh yeah, I was just concerned we're not going to score a touchdown. I don't care about the clock at this point. Like, I was having flashbacks to I think it was the 2018 game. That's when Troy was quarterback, right? All season. He throws the first play of the game. He throws a dime to Kevin Cassis.
Yeah, I remember.
Cassis sprinting down in Fargo, gets caught at the 1 yard line, and we get stuffed 3 times in a row and kick a field goal. And then get boat raced. That was like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get down the 1 yard line again and just get stuffed. Oh God, I was so upset. I was like,
yeah. You never know what like actually happens in like the plays after. Let's say Ryan King does get in and everything after that in the space-time continuum, like the butterfly effect, right? Gets altered. So we always assume like everything else would be exactly the same. It wouldn't, but holy cow, to not call Ryan King in right there was egregious on that refs call.
I need to rewatch that because
they didn't even review it, and I was like,
that's the weird part. So if it was something that was like debatable, they should have in a championship game. I guess I don't know how it works, but would MSU have had to have challenged that? That's not an automatic review because it's not within the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know the rules as much in college, to be honest with you.
Well, let's say he doesn't even get in. Okay, let's say he's not in. Where they marked it was clearly a yard too long or too
I
short,
don't know,
however you want
one
it.
yard line, half yard line. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah. Anyway, so it just
If
it
you're a
felt
national
really weird.
championship caliber team, you're scoring on first and goal from the 100% of the time.
Okay, but at that moment is the first jolt of, hey, we could maybe actually
That's
do
true.
this.
That's
Like
true.
we scored, we had to score. We connected on some passing yards. Like we had 17 in the first half, and all of a sudden we matriculated it downfield and we found a weakness. And the energy is a buzz in the stadium because it's probably 65% Bobcat fans, 70% Bobcat fans at most, right? We clearly outnumbered the Bison, and that stadium gets loud, and you can feel it. The electricity is now pumping through the stadium, and it feels good. And then what do? We make them punt on
Yes.
6 plays. They only go 8 yards, and we respond with 2 plays, a touchdown. So we hit Ryan Lonergan for 53 yards, and then Tommy Malott hits Rohan Jones, and Rohan Jones completely redeems himself after basically having one of the crappiest games all year long. And we hit the 2-point conversion, and there was a feeling that went through my bones, and that a 2-point conversion that I don't think I felt
No.
maybe once, twice, 3 times in my life, where I'm like, holy cow, we are going to win. We're going to win.
Let's go.
It's absolutely game on. What's the score at that moment? I'm feeling it
That
right
brings
now.
it to 21-18. I had my facts wrong
21-18.
when I was talking about the 3-and-out sequence. We'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, 21-18 at this point. The crowd went insane. There's like, there's Tommy. Of all the people to do it, it's Tommy. So you're like, the Bison fans are stunned. They're quiet. You're looking down on them from where we are. The crowd is just going crazy. At that point, you're feeling it, man.
Oh, 100% you're feeling it. 100% you are. It was one of the best moments in that night, was that moment right there.
Yeah, the
That
Tommy
moment
touchdown
right
run was like, what's going to stick out in my mind is the most exciting thing because it gave us hope. It was an exciting play. We were back in the game after that dismal first half, and that was quick. Like there was still 4 minutes left in the game. Or I'm sorry, that's not Tommy's touchdown. Or what am I talking about? But there's still 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and we're within 3 points after that disgusting first half we had. We're right back in this game, right back in it.
Yeah. So at that point, everything's going Montana State's way, 21-18. And how do the Bison respond? 8 plays, 75 yards,
Yeah,
4
quite
minutes.
well.
Yeah, almost 5-minute drive, touchdown. And this is where Montana State needs to make a freaking play and get them off the field. If we get them off the field right here, we're going to avalanche these guys. We might have a chance to just avalanche them, but they respond. They hit a 3rd and 6. I think this might have been when.
That was that diving catch Bryce Lance had down.
Oh, okay.
That
That's
was
what it was.
such a good catch.
Yeah.
He killed us, man.
Yeah.
That was good coverage. That
Yeah.
was really good coverage. He
It's
was
good
right there.
coverage.
Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
But again, Montana State fails to make the big time play in
Yeah.
a big time moment.
And the Bison make it. They make their big time plays.
Yep.
A diving laid out catch.
That is the difference. And that feels like a kick in the nuts because that takes us into the fourth quarter. And now the Bison are up 28-18. They're up 10 again. And becomes like this yo-yoing back and forth the last part.
I'm still feeling pretty decent at this point. Like, all right, we gave the touchdown, but the offense has got to untrack. It's still a 10-point game after that disastrous first half. I'm still feeling all right.
So Montana State responds, 5 plays, 75 yards. Now this is the fourth quarter, and this is where Tommy Malott caps it off with his magical run of 44 yards, and he does the Olay move into the end zone, his signature touchdown, little hop.
The little layup,
And
little scoop
yep,
layup.
and we are 28-25, and it is 11:25 left in the fourth. At this point, Thorny, everything's chips are in the table. They're in the middle. It's anybody's game at this moment.
And you are begging the defense. You are
Yes.
just praying, like, all right, defense, it's your turn. The offense scored 2 touchdowns in a row. You got to get off the field. I'm just sitting up there like, get off the field. That's all we need. That's all we need. Like, I feel like if we get them off the field, we win. I mean,
Yep.
at this point, like, we get the ball back, we win.
Yep. And we do.
And we do get the ball back.
3 and out. The
Three and
only
out.
3 and out we'd give. The Bison all game is in that moment, and we are erupting. We're hugging. Like Zach was next to us. We're hugging across the barriers. This is going to happen. We are going to score.
Yeah, Waded Cruzado's over there celebrating.
Yeah, we're next to
He's right
Waded.
next to us.
No, and then Montana State goes 3 and out. Oh no! Oh no! Scotty. Montana State 1st and 10. Montana State 17. Here is the play calls. Scotty Humphrey 2 yards. Adam Jones 4 yards. Tommy Malott incomplete pass to Rohan Jones where he double clutches it. Rohan Jones he could have backed himself into a first down. It was a miss by Tommy Malott. Tommy could have ran for the first down.
He had a guy like waving his hands right up in his face. I'm not sure he could have ran for that. I'm looking back at this, and I was thinking at the time, like, that was not the play calls he wanted, but we got ourselves into a 3rd and 4. That's Bobcat football right there. Like it or not, you get yourself into 3rd and 4. We convert on those. We were the number 1 3rd down conversion team in the country going into this game because we consistently had 3rd and 4s. Because we always won 1st and 2nd downs. 3rd and 4 is fine. That should be fine. I didn't love the 3rd down play call. We should have got it, but I think Tommy made a little mistake on that one.
He did, and we run it to the boundary side when the field side was wide open. It's perplexing to me, some of the play calls we were running during this game. We did the worst thing possible besides giving a turnover at that moment. By the way, no turnovers in this game, either side. And we lose the momentum. That was one of the coffin nails in the Bobcats' coffin that night, was going 3 and out in that instant. So
squandered opportunity. That's a what if right there.
Yeah, 7 minutes left. We are forced to punt, and we punted to North Dakota State's 34.
And what did championship teams do in this situation? They put the game away.
9 plays, 66 yards, 5 minutes, touchdown.
Game over. In that moment, I knew it was over.
Yeah.
Barring a miracle, but
we got them into a 3rd and 6, and Cam Miller completes a 7-yard pass to Rajah Nelson. And it was that at that moment I knew it was over. And yeah. So
I remember turning to you after that play. I'm like, Montana State would have cut that ball 1 yard short of the first down.
Cam Miller played flawlessly. In fact, the Bison played flawlessly.
I think the Bison played the best they could have possibly played. They played at like a 10 out of 10, which is why the game's not over. We're not done going through the drives here. But when Tommy said the best team lost, like, I don't like people publicly saying that kind of stuff. I think he's right. Yeah. I think the Bobcats were the more talented team. They had the higher ceiling. And the first half, I think, was more about the Bobcats not playing as well as they should, more than it was the Bison really doing a whole lot to stop the Cats. Because as you saw in the second half, we outscored them 29-14. Like, if you have a similar first half, we win this game like 44-35, right?
Yeah.
That very well could have happened. But the experience being in Frisco, even though it was a first-time head coach, Tim Polasek, like, you had Cam Miller, you had a bunch of guys, you had seniors on that Bison team that weren't going to let it happen. They played flawless. They played their best game. Kudos to them. I just think the Cats, so many what ifs in this game. They could have won. They should have won.
Yeah. So the Cats then respond and they have 10 play, 73 yards, only a minute 32 off the clock, and they go for it on 4th and 2, and Tommy drops a dime to Taco
Yeah.
Dollar.
I'm not entirely sure Taco caught.
He did.
He bobbled it at the
that.
very end. I don't know the college
No,
rules on it.
well, he was
If
clearly
it was the
out of bounds
NFL, he
when
wouldn't have got it because he did not go all the way down to the ground with possession. He definitely bobbled it out.
Okay, well,
in college though, he got the 2 feet in, then he went out of bounds. I think that's all you need.
so that brings us within 3. So now it's 35-32, and then the infamous 3-play punt. So they had 3 plays, and
Is that infamous?
yeah, I think so, because it was it was
I mean, the punt is the infamous part. That will
yeah.
go down in history as Bobcat fans debating what should have happened on this. We force them into a 3 and out. They punt the ball with 10 seconds left. The Cats in the house. They put nobody in the back to receive the punt. The ball just lands there. Clock expires. Bobcats lose.
Yeah.
And I know you and I at the time were like, why is Taco not back out there? Why, like, give our best return man a chance to do it? But then you think more about it, it's like they wouldn't have punted a Taco.
No.
They would have done anything to avoid that happening.
Yeah.
They'd punt it out of bounds. They'd punt it in the end zone.
And then you have
So-
5 seconds left to do a Hail Mary or to go 80 yards,
Yeah.
essentially.
I still think I would have liked to have given the offense a chance for a hook and ladder type crazy nonsense play rather than an all out rush. But they're both low probability, right?
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize I was so mad. Like, why is Taco not back there? But I was like, yeah, well, that's why. They would not have given Taco a chance to do anything. They're too good of a program. They would have. No.
And we, according to Vim, our 2 guys that were in the middle on that rush didn't even put their hands up. And so there's another missed a what if opportunity.
Also, I need to watch replay on this. I haven't heard too many people talk about it. I think somebody did on Bobcat. I think Vim finally did on his big post. There was who was the guy on the onside kick right before that? It looked like it went right through his body.
Oh, Paltrow. Yeah.
I watched that live. It looked so weird. It
Another
looked like
what-if
the
moment.
Bison weren't ready for it. Like, did that go 10 yards? Did a Bobcat just like literally just have it go through his hands? I was very confused watching that live. It looked like we had a very good opportunity to get that. I need to watch the replay of that. I have not watched that play in particular because I'm very curious to see how it looked on TV.
I watched that play probably 5 times in it. It looks just like you
Is
said,
it close?
Man. It's so
Like,
close.
is it kind of those like, how did he not get it kind of things? Because that's how it looked like on live.
It's like, why did he jump? Because he jumped in and went like kind of through his legs. I'm like, if you would have just stood there, it would have hit you right in the chest. You would have been able to recover it. Oh man, another what if play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
because that gives us the ball back with like a minute left on their on the 50-yard line or something.
Yeah,
that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So
with 2 timeouts. Oh, what ifs? That's it. That's what this game is. It's a big old giant what if. And now I'm just sad.
Yeah.
And I have been sad since last Monday.
I think there's a couple talking points on the back end of this. Like the classic trying to out Bison the Bison. I think we kind of got into a kind of a bravado match early on and tried to run it on them. And I still don't think you can beat the Bison that way. I think Montana State was
not the way we ran it.
Yeah, exactly. Whether that was more zone or gap scheme, I think it was more zone. We didn't try to press the edge. But what were they vulnerable? They were vulnerable in the secondary, and we didn't take advantage of that until we kind of felt like we had to. Like we were trying to matriculate the ball down the field, and our running backs were not breaking tackles. And I think that's a little bit on Adam Jones and Scottree Humphrey. By all accounts, the Bison weren't a great tackling team from what I've heard, but they tackled out of their minds in this game. Another point I wanted to make is I think the way NDSU handled their energy is better than Montana State's approach. Tim Polisic going up and down the team, getting those guys fired up. It felt like there was more energy on the sideline for the Bison than there was on Montana State. And this is a point from Brooks Nuanez. He mentioned he's like, Coach Vegan in his steady, stoic manner. Maybe that wasn't the time to continue to be stoic. Like there was a time and a place where, like, guys, this is it. This is the national championship game. And sometimes maybe you just have to bring a different energy. I've thought that the Bison played with a more aggression than the Bobcats did, and that's on Coach Vegan.
I think it's putting a lot of things on one guy.
Yeah, well, he's the head coach. Buck stops with him, man.
Because there's like 100 other people involved in that can maybe get their own energy. You think guys weren't dancing on the sideline, players weren't pumping up the crowd the same way because Vegan wasn't doing it? You think all that from NDSU side is Tim Polisic, not the various other coaches they've had that have all been different personalities? It's definitely Vegan.
It's both. No, it's not either or. It's both. So yeah.
Also,
All right.
we weren't on that side though. We were right. We saw the NDSU sideline shenanigans because that was the side we were on. I think we would have felt a little bit different if we were on the Bobcat side, possibly. But I don't know. I was very impressed with NDSU's energy. The player, like all the backup players, guys that were just wearing like t-shirts down there, were pumping up the crowd, man.
Yeah.
They were getting after it. So kudos. I did like that energy. I just think the Bobcats had bad energy.
We didn't have much for the +1 run game. Cam Miller ate us up.
I mean, their running backs were held relatively in check too.
Yeah.
It was definitely Cam Miller, man. Cam Miller, he balled in every way possible. He's like, that was a very Cam Miller game. Nothing that's gonna like make a highlight reel, but just a good performance. Like everything you'd ever want out of quarterback. The definition of like a game manager, right?
Gosh, man.
Trent Dilfer would be proud.
I'm just sad now. All right. Well, we got to flush it because and learn from it. And what did Coach Vegan say? I guess we needed to learn another lesson.
I guess we needed to learn another lesson.
No, he didn't. No, you didn't. You had a chance to stomp those douchers and you didn't do it. Gosh dang it. You only have so many of them. That's why we go, man. That's why we go to Frisco. Like if you're North Dakota State won 10 out of the last I don't know,
14, I think.
You probably can count on it going forward too. You're like, yeah, well, should we go to Frisco this year, guys? Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll go in a couple years when we're back there again. No,
yeah.
Like
you and I made we were walking out of the game afterwards. NDS fans were like just walking out there like they walked out of a regular season matchup with Western Illinois.
Yeah.
Like just another day in the life of a Bison fan. Cat fans would have been like losing their damn minds. It would have been just chaos. It would have been just celebrations everywhere, high-fiving, running around, screaming. Bison fans are just walking out, like getting their coats, just nonchalant. It's like, damn it.
Yeah, they were like, good game, like hugging each other. Yeah, all right. Well, put another one in the trophy.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well, some guy said, well, another one for the trophy case. What bar do you want to go to? Like, it's like, son of a. And they've earned that, man. Like, this guy's got to be a little bit of fatigue setting into the fan base, you would think. But
yeah. Just the finality of it feels so hard to swallow because you're like, man, 15-0 could have been 16-0. Had the team, had the momentum, all of it, and then it was squandered. And now I think maybe 7 times out of 10 we win that game.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, against those guys, right?
I think we beat him in Bozeman 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah. All right.
What do you want to say to people that are saying this was our best shot, if not now, when? How do you feel now?
So how do I feel now? I still feel very optimistic. I am not a doom and gloom kind of guy. Like all those people are saying, if not now, when? It's like there's no hope in that. Like there's no hope to say like if we can't do it now, then when are we gonna do it? Well, maybe next year, maybe this coming year. You never know because people are like, well, we won't have Tommy Millot, we won't have Rylan Nort. But guess what, guys? We've been saying that for years. You name the player. We won't have Daenerys McGee anymore. We won't have Dakota Prukop. We won't have Jody Owens. We won't have Alex Singleton. Well, guess what?
We won't have
get
Travis
new guys
Luley.
who become those All-Americans who you fall in love with. They're in the program or they're coming to the program and we develop them and they become those guys. Now, Tommy Millot, he's an all-time great. Just like Travis Luley was, just like Daenerys McGee is. Is there another all-time great in the wings? We don't know. Probably, though, is the answer. Eventually, Montana State will have another quarterback that will carry them, hopefully for 4 years, and won't transfer out. You know, keep your fingers crossed as you're watching all the portal news going on right now. It still happens, people. Montana State is special. We have a ton to recruit to. So for the person saying, sheesh, man, I don't know if we're going to get it next year. Well, why not? Look at the FCS. Look at the distillation of the top of the FCS. You're going to have the Dakota schools. You're going to have Montana State, and another one up there. Probably 5 schools who could actually win this. There's no reason why we are not in the semifinals next year with a shot to go back to we're now Nashville. So, yes, we can win it. Yeah. And who's to say we got coming up? All these guys going into the portal, making big-time money, just gives opportunity for the kids who really want to be here. And those kids are going to be blue and gold, Bobcats through and through, and you're going to scream your lungs out for them because that's what we do as fans. And we're going to go do it all over again next year. So, yes, keep your head up. We'll develop them. We're going to get back there. And come friggin' time for Gold Rush when it's Jackrabbits are in town, you better be there screaming your head off. And let's kick the crap out of those guys and get the season started in 2025. Get this thing going all over again. That's where I'm at.
Love it, man. I love that positivity because that's where I am. Like I'm really upset about this game. It is very easy to go down and be sad about the game, and I am individually at that snapshot. But when I look at the overall program of Montana State, we'll be back. There's no reason that MSU is not going to be back. Yeah, this may have been the best team MSU has fielded since '84, right? That I'm not going to argue with. But there's no reason that another version of the Bobcats that maybe isn't even as good as this Bobcat team doesn't mean they can't win a national championship. Like there's lots of things that go into winning a national championship. Some of that's luck, some of that's how you play. There's so many different things that go into it. Like it doesn't, I don't know. I don't buy that doom and gloom stuff either. You talk so much about how this could be a watershed moment for the Cats if they win. I still think it could be a watershed moment even if we had lost.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
There's no reason the Cats can't just be in this position every year. One year we might, maybe North Dakota State loses in an upset in the semifinals, and we go to the national championship and we play like Incarnate Word or something. Like there's so many things that can happen.
Or we beat the Bison next year and we learn our lesson. Like if there was a lesson we need to learn, and Coach Vegan is right, then we go back and we learn from it. And that's the thing that Montana State has done so well under Vegan is they have learned their lessons and have evolved. They haven't been the same old Bobcats over and over again, learning the same lessons. I think Coach Vegan has evolved. I think our culture has evolved. I don't know how you focus like the whole 1-0 mentality. I don't know. Is that going to be the same thing going forward? It really worked for us. Is that our rally cry next year? I don't know.
No,
I don't know how
every year.
Yeah.
It's like you got to have a new one every year, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, how do you keep guys zeroed in, focused, whatnot? Is it just straight up, let's go get the national championship? Nothing else matters. I'm not sure. They'll figure it out, though. I don't know.
That's where I am, man. I feel good. I feel good about the state of Montana State football. Don't be sad. Keep your heads up, Cat fans. Even with the portal seemingly decimating all of our good players, it doesn't matter. We
No.
reload.
Yes.
We reload. There's
Yes.
other good players who haven't had a chance to play yet. The portal has not giveth yet. It will start to. It will start to giveth.
Oh yeah. There's going to be a lot of players in that portal. All right. Let's talk to the fan who's been considering going to a national championship game. Let's talk why they should go and maybe why they shouldn't go.
Well, you shouldn't go if you don't like to be sad in the place that you lose at. Going down to Texas to lose and being sad about it. I don't know. Like we were talking about, like, I don't know if I can do this again. As fun as it is, it's heartbreaking being down
Yeah.
there and then being amongst all those NDSU fans, or if that's who we play next time or whatever. It's hard. I don't want to do it in Frisco again. I hope we make it in Nashville so I can at least be a new scenery. But it's fun, man. Like I think MSU did it a lot better this year. I think last time it was kind of like, oh crap, we're making the national championship game. We got to throw like something together for the Cat fans. And this time, man, Cat fans were on it. MSU was on it. The event, from all accounts and pictures I've seen, that was at the stadium or whatever stadium, the practice stadium that was off the chart. We avoided it. We went to the locals bar, which was promoting themselves as the Bobcat bar, and it was just nothing but Cat fans in there. That was a ton of fun. It's a lot of fun, man. You get to see so many Cat fans. You get to run into people that you probably haven't seen forever that are just randomly down there. Like, chances are, if you know a Cat fan in your life, you probably run into them in Frisco.
Funny. I got in a day before you, and I recommend if you can take a couple days buffer before.
Yes.
If you could take a day after and do something where it's not just trying to get out on Tuesday. By the way, the Monday night was really cool. I love Toyota Stadium. By the way, one of the coolest stadiums.
It is
ever
a cool
been in.
stadium. It is nice.
And the night feel for that game was very awesome. Like the energy, super great.
A little cold.
Yes.
A little cold.
That was the weird part. I got in on Saturday. If you're going to go, again, if it's on a Monday, go on a Saturday or a Friday. Get there early. It's fun. You're going to hang out with a whole bunch of Bobcat fans. You'll go play Top Golf. You go bowling. You go out to dinner. Uber everywhere you go. Super affordable to do so. Make plans with people you know to hang out there. Don't try to get there on Sunday. Don't do that.
That's what I did. I regret it.
Yeah, don't try to get there on Sunday. Get there early Saturday or a Friday and have some buffer time to kind of relax a little bit. Get the Bobcat vibe going because you want to enjoy it, because there's so many people that had flights delayed. You get in on Sunday, you feel like you have to do everything right there, right then. And then you get to game day. Game day feels very subdued. Like we had to wait until it was 6:00 Texas time, which is 4:00, Washington time, 5:00 Montana time. So it felt late in the day, and it was so cold. It was windy. It was so windy.
It's very windy.
Very windy, very cold. You didn't want to be outside, so you didn't want to walk around. So it was just like nervous energy building up to the game.
Now, to be fair, we did not get there very early for tailgating.
No, but the day before, that day is just fun. You're like, what do you want to do? Oh, well, there's this Bobcat gathering. There's this eatery. There's this thing we want to do. Do that. You'll have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day after, the Tuesday after, you're going to see the most fans at the airport. And most of us have to go back. Like I had to, I took Monday off. Monday was my first day back from school from winter break. I took Tuesday off, had to teach Wednesday. Man, I didn't get home to Spokane until probably like 10 o'clock at night. And then, that's just at the airport. And so it's a long day. So budget your time wisely. Try to think about that if you can afford it. That would be my advice for fans going down.
Now, our experience on this one was pretty different because we were able to link up with my buddy John, who had a couple extra spots in a suite. He knew a guy that kind of put together a suite. And so that was really cool. I recommend that, especially when it's cold. Anytime you got cold, you went right back into the suite, just like nice and heated. We were right next to like Zach and Waterhead Cruzado and some other, I don't know, there's some other people over there in the booth next to us, but or the suite next to us. But that's a good way to go. But you don't need to do that, obviously. But I'm just talking from our personal experience. Like
Yeah.
that was our experience on this one, and it was awesome.
Yeah, we definitely benefited from that. It was awesome.
Do all your
And
drinking and eating before you go in the stadium because the stadium is extremely expensive.
I think it was like 13 or $15 for one beer.
It's like $15 for a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah,
It's like, what am I doing
hot.
with my life?
But yeah, the Ubers were great. You could get around anywhere you want. Frisco was a small enough town that you could travel pretty easily in and around.
It was like $15 everywhere we went. No matter how far it was, it seemed like every Uber bill I had was $15,
Yeah,
which isn't
uh,
bad. It does add up if you do it 10 times a day, though.
it was pretty sad though. I think there was a lot of sad Bobcat fans in the airport. A lot of like,
Yeah.
well, it's over and we got to go back to the real world. We couldn't just live in our Bobcat bubble. But the finality just sat in or sunk in, and I was sitting there in Vegas during my layover, just kind of bummed. I was like, what's there to look forward to? You thought about the men's basketball team who was on the skids at the time. We hadn't won a game in conference. Thank God we pulled one out this past weekend. There's a little bit of hope, but now I'm starting to feel a little bit thorny. Like, okay, I'm optimistic that we're going to get some good guys in the portal, especially as the FBS has to shrink their roster size. There will be a
Yeah.
flood of talent coming back down to the FCS. So keep hopeful for that. But now I'm going to attune my attention into like brick ball with Zach, and then thinking about the Bobcats, a basketball team. The ladies basketball team is like number 76 in the nation right now. We're the highest ranked Big Sky team by
They're
far. And
cooking,
we're
man. And they
number
got some injuries
14 in
too.
the mid-major poll right now. So there's things are still coming up Bobcats. And I do believe that the men have tasted a little bit of success. I won't be surprised at if we start going on a little bit of a run over there. So football's over, and it was an amazing season. I still don't think I've processed like what it's meant as a fan doing this whole podcast. And maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just talk our way out of it and not even actually sit and reflect on the magnitude of the season. It's a good time though, man. It's you look at the indoor practice facility, you look at the crowd, you look at just the energy surrounding the program. It's hard not to think that Montana State won't be here again. And hopefully next year, late January, mid-January, we're talking about the national champion, Montana State.
It was a special season. I don't want that to go under the radar or be unsaid. What an
Yeah.
amazing season. We didn't lose a single game until the national championship game. Like, I enjoy the hell out of this season. And the entire time, I was just trying to live in the moment. I wasn't trying to think about next year. I wasn't trying to think about what's going to happen after the season's over. The portal's going to gut us. I was just like, I'm enjoying this, man. This is amazing. This is a special time to be a Bobcat fan. You and I have lived through a lot of disappointing, terrible Bobcat football years, and this was one of the best, if not the best, most fun season I've had as a Bobcat fan.
100%. There's only one thing left to do now. We got to go win the national championship.
Got to do it.
And we got to beat the Bison. We got to get that monkey off our
We
back.
do. We
Yeah.
do. Well, we still have the portal to talk about. I don't feel it's appropriate to talk about that right now. I don't want to talk about
No.
that. Any Golden Cooler
keep-
questions we want to get to?
Let's see if anybody.
We can do like a
one-
spring or a season recap or some other thing to talk about all the other kind of stuff. But that would just bring us back down.
No, I don't think there's anything in the Golden Coolie thread. Both Cephas keeps posting these things about Tennessee Fight Song or singing Dixieland Delight, but no specific questions. So, oh man, I think that's it. I think this season is a cap. Cap on the season, is that what kids say? I don't know. Cap means like you're lying anymore.
You teach kids. You know more about kids than me.
I said that wrong. Yeah, there you go.
No cap.
No cap. All right.
I'm pretty sure that's outdated at this point too. By the time that I understand it, it's probably toast. It's not cool anymore.
Alrighty. Get us out of here, Thorny.
What a wild ride. Thanks everyone for listening all season long, which started way back in August.
Oh my god.
Jeez. There's a lot of podcasting. It's a lot of football to watch. It's a lot of interactions with everyone listening to the show on Twitter. Got to meet some cool people down in Frisco and just a bunch of people listening to the show throughout our travels this year. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. You can always find us on the web, rrcatcast.com. You can find us on Twitter, rrcatcast, Instagram, rrcatcast, and all that good stuff. Fully, let's get out here for the last time in the 2024-2025 season. Go Cats.
Go Cats.